folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name's Chris Meyer. I'm going to be your host for today. And today, for the first time ever on the show, I have Doug Stiel and Mark Sander. And they're with a show called Famous Impressions over at the Hughes Brothers Theater. So looking forward to hearing about their new show today. Excited to talk to them. Now, every once in a while I give you a tip about how to vacation in Branson. And so today I want to let you know about the new Flavor of Branson dining guide that's out there. You can find this in 100 plus locations around town. It lists every restaurant in the Branson area by category. So if you're like, hey, I want barbecue, you can go to the barbecue section and you can see who's in Branson barbecue-wise. Lots of great advertisers. And in the back of the book, there's about 20, 30 coupons that can help save you money and stretch your vacation dollars. So be sure to ask for that. That's called the Flavor of Branson. Also, there's another publication out there called The Taste of Branson. Now, this is more of a menu magazine, and so it has menus or menu highlights from lots of restaurants in the Branson area. You'll find this typically in your hotel room, so look for it in your hotel room. If your hotel doesn't have it, ask them to get it for you, and check that one out as well. So two great ways to find out restaurant information here in the Branson area. Now, I do fun facts occasionally on the show, and while we've been talking about food, did you know that ice pops were originally invented by an 11-year-old by accident? That's right. In 1905, an 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson, he left soda powder and water outside overnight with a wooden stirrer still in the cup. Guess what happened? That mixture froze in the chilly nighttime weather, and so the Epicicle was born the next day. He sold that treat around his neighborhood in a nearby amusement park, and eventually he patented the recipe. Years later, he changed the name to the Popsicle because that's what his kids called their Pop's concoction. So there you know, you have the rest of the story about the Popsicle. We'll be back in just a minute with the guys from Famous Impressions.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and for the first time on the show today, first time on the show ever, we have two guys from Famous Impressions. I have Doug Stiel and Mark Sander. So welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I'm guessing at some point in here we're going to learn and hear maybe some famous impressions. But before we do that, we got to go way back and we got to understand like how you got into this business. How did you guys get to Branson? Like, talk to us about that. Because you guys are a relatively very new show in town, and I'm guessing there's a lot of people that don't know you.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they don't know. We were born at a very early age. Mark, you can take it from there. Okay.
He started back in Vegas.
Yep.
20 years ago. Corporate entertaining.
Corporate gigs.
For the most part. And then I joined the group probably 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. We had known each other since, for probably 30 plus years. Like when we were 3, we met. So.
He's lying right now.
So I joined the group about 2.5 years ago, and then my background, I've been on the radio with DJing and then corporate gigs as well, DJing and things like that, weddings and such. So you can talk a little bit more about Vegas.
Oh yeah, we probably played every theater and every convention center in Vegas, and we were really tight. We did a lot of political stuff. We worked for the governor's office quite a bit. We were their go-to people for like fundraising and gubernatorial balls, and so in Vegas you meet so many people because there's no way we would get invited to a party unless we were doing some form of entertainment. But we got into a lot of places we probably wouldn't have been let in.
Yeah. So how did you get into the business though? Like growing up, what led you to get into the entertainment business?
Probably isolation. as a child. And I had low vision my whole life, but now, it's gotten to the point where I have no vision in my left eye and maybe less than 10% in my right eye. So my worldview is very limited. But as a kid, I think I heard more of the world around me than I saw, And so I'm watching stuff and listening and trying to copy and mimic everything I heard on the radio or television, and it's just something that just grew up. And probably, when you grow up on a farm, you start off just making animal sounds, and that's what I did. And then it just kind of turned into commercials, and I drove my parents crazy. My adopted parents. I was adopted.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so, because of your eyesight, you just started to you had to use your ears.
Absolutely.
More.
Absolutely. You bet. I mean, I don't know if people realize that when I was growing up, I couldn't see the front of the class. I mean, even on my best day with corrective lenses or anything. So I was probably deemed, like just not focusing, or maybe they thought I had attention deficit or something like that. But it was basically just very challenging to see what everybody else was seeing around me. So.
And so when did you know, like, hey, I want to do this for a living as a career or whatever? Because you also had some background in psychotherapy, right?
Right, yeah, I did. I was a psychotherapist for a large mental health consortium for a number of years, and then I was also a director of some different medical facilities in Las Vegas during the course of our entertaining as well.
Okay, so you're doing both.
Yeah.
Now, how does that help you or hurt you when you do both?
Oh, let's see. How does it hurt me? Well, I think it's time challenging, but what was nice is when we're entertaining, we look at it as like group therapy. And if you come to our show, you'll feel like you've been in a humor group or a humor-based therapy session. And humor therapy is a field of study in graduate school. So I think it helps us. It's therapeutic for us. Yeah. Now, I don't know if we're traumatizing people. Hopefully not. And if we are, we'll tell them we'll work with them at the end of the show.
That's right.
But it's such a wonderful thing because we feel like we see it more as a ministry maybe than some people would see us as entertainers. But it just happens to just mesh really well. It really does.
What brought you guys to Branson? Like why Branson? Because if you're in Vegas,
right,
you're doing all these gigs and all this kind of stuff. Why Branson?
Go ahead, Mark.
No, that's a great question. I believe we were led here, and the fact of us getting together when we did, it was all like the perfect storm. It was the right time. They'd come here. They came here once to visit Branson, and then after that, it was we've got to get to Branson. So we kind of courted the Hughes Brothers. Jason specifically. Had a great relationship with Jason. We performed for the family, kind of an audition, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, with children running through our legs and climbing on us. And
That's right.
We got a lot of kids.
Yes, they do.
So, and that was before everything hit, the pandemic. So, we were scheduled to hit the ground running in March of 2020. Everything got moved back. And we performed in August of 2020 a showcase. We had a showcase performance. We had over 250 people show up, which was
during the
unheard
pandemic,
of.
Wasn't it? It was kind of
during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it went very well. They invited us back to perform a couple of months last year, and then we got invited back to start.
So you kind of had a strategy.
We did. We
did.
Kind
You
of.
kind of had a strategy.
We don't like to bring that up in public or talk about it on the air, but yes, we did.
Yeah. And I tell you what's really interesting is the Hughes family, I think, has been very gracious to new shows or new entertainers in town and looking at them and because I think people did that for them, They
did.
And,
I think when they started,
and so I think they have been very kind to share their theater with other people in time slots, and of course they don't want to work 4 different shows a day anyway. But anyway, I love that about them, and so that's neat that you guys were working that relationship with them. So
yeah, we were actually when we came here the first time, we were at breakfast, and 2 ladies walked up to us and said, you're in the entertainment industry. And we go, well, yeah, but is it on our T-shirt somewhere? And then they said, no, but we were just told to come over here and talk to you, and then we recommend that you go talk to the Hughes Brothers, see their show, and see if that's the theater you want to be in. And we had never met these people before.
That's kind of an interesting deal, isn't
it? It was an interesting deal. There's been a lot of things like that have happened to us. So we did. We took in their show, and we stayed and talked to them afterward, and then it just led to, what would you like to come do a showcase, or would you like to come down and, show us what you do? And so we said, yeah, we'll be back and we'll come do that.
Okay. And
but they've been wonderful. I mean, so wonderful. They're so fun, and it's such a wholesome, godly environment. It's you just feel good there. I mean, and you just feel the presence of something very special in that theater.
That's good. Okay, this is a great place for us to stop. We'll be back in just a second to talk more about what this show actually is. So stay tuned. Folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We're here today with Doug and Mark from Famous Impressions. And, I think I was on your website. It was somewhere. And it says, your show is kind of like Dr. Phil meets Comedy Central or something. People leave and they tell us, my husband hasn't laughed in 25 years. And I guess then after the show, he laughed or something like that. So what is this show? Tell us about it.
Well, it's a lot of impromptu comedy, and we're very quick on the draw as far as using the audience and interacting. Mark kind of scans them and sees who we can pull up and talk to. We used to go out in the crowd a lot, but we don't do that, probably since the COVID thing. But it is a lot of spontaneous humor. Of course, when you do hundreds of voices, you can use them to say things that you might not get away with in your own voice. But we have a great time, and it's like I said, people leave and their face hurts, and people. It's a special time. It's therapeutic, we think. So
yeah. So you're doing impressions of famous stars.
Yes.
And then you have a band.
Live band, great,
that's new this
wonderful
year.
Band. Yeah, they play every number. It's wonderful.
And so, are you singing? Are you both singing?
We both sing, and then our dancers also sing harmony and background singing. And then they also they'll have some of their own numbers here soon too. We're working up their impressions and some of their singing. So it's really a full moving show. It's pretty cool.
So what kind of music are people going to hear?
Go ahead, Mark. What do we start out with?
Legendary country. You'll hear some George Strait, some Randy Travis, some Willie and Waylon. We also throw gospel tunes in there as well. We upped it from last year because that was kind of a request to have more gospel tunes in there. So we do throw like 3 or 4 of them. We also do rock from the 70s and 80s.
Well, I like to think we do Randy Travis very well. I mean, a lot of the people he does. I had a stroke a while back, and so we like to keep him alive. And I learned how to talk like this by listening to the Motel 6 guy, but then I kept leaving lights on everywhere I went. So go ahead, Mark.
Right. So typically, what you'll see is we sing, and then we have like a little talking with the audience. Then we'll go to another tune, and then he'll do an impression. So you get like, 15, 20 impressions along with probably 18 to 20 songs during the show that's actual impression singing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, our songs, we sing like the artists. I mean, it's pretty dead on, and it's people. I mean, we've got so many wonderful reviews on TripAdvisor, and they think. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes they like the music, sometimes they like the impressions, sometimes they like the band and the dancers. But we've had nothing but wonderful 5-star reviews this year. It's been wonderful.
And I went to TripAdvisor, and I will validate what you're saying because the reviews there were tons of 5-star reviews, and people loved the show. So
thank you.
That's really good. So who are some of your favorite like impressionists? I mean, or your artists that you do?
Well, we start the show doing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Elvis Presley arguing behind the curtain. That's right. Hey, don't judge me here. But Arnold starts introducing pretty boy Elvis, and then Elvis comes out and he says, I think you're a little swollen, Bubba. I think you've been stung by a lot of bees, and look at you. You look horrible. You're disgusting. I hope you don't sing today. And then Arnold says, I don't have to sing because I'm huge and I can pummel you. And then we open the curtains, and then Elvis comes out. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, contain yourself, Chris. Contain yourself.
This is not pre-rehearsed, by the way. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, every time somebody mentions Elvis on this show, I do have to say I'm in a picture with Elvis when I was a little kid. He went to Harrison, Arkansas.
We heard he had a son that nobody knew about.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what we heard.
no. He probably does. Not me, though.
Come over here, boy. Sit on my lap, honey. Come.
Like, what 80s music are you guys doing?
Randy Travis did something.
Yep,
Is it 80s?
Randy Travis. We got Don Williams. That's an 80s song.
Eagles, America.
Yep, Eagles in America. That's
Okay.
right.
We do 50s. Well, I mean, we do. We go all the way back to. We do Louis Armstrong.
Yep.
We do Chubby Checkers. Like we open it with a medley from Elvis, then we go back to Elvis when we hand out our scarves. You've got to see the scarves that we hand out and give back to the audience. They're amazing.
So you have dancers in
Yes,
the
we do.
show. You mentioned that, and
Yes.
you're out there. Are you dancing too?
I don't think people would call it dancing. I think it would be called like an impersonation of an orangutan or something.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, anyway, that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
Mark may be dancing, but I can't see that if he is.
We're trying to be kind to you.
Yeah, okay. They just, no, I move around a little bit because I have to be very careful. They don't want me to fall off stage. My goal as an entertainer, I just worry about don't fall, don't trip, don't fall off the stage. So I'm not worried about how the songs are going to sound, if I'll be in pitch or if I'll hit the keys, the notes. The biggest thing for me is just don't fall and be happy,
So, because of your eyesight, you probably have a little bit of a disadvantage from that standpoint because you can't see the reaction of the crowd. But you probably are more sensitive to the sound of the crowd.
Oh, yes, absolutely, yeah. And I tell them, I said, I won't be able to see if you're happy. You're going to have to make some noise. And the crowd picks up on that immediately. And so they do. And I think it's, I was telling Mark earlier, your other Mark, not you, Mark, that Mark. I was telling him that, what was I telling Mark earlier? Something about falling off the stage or something like that. Anyway, but it does change things, and you do have to be more of you have to be empathetic, or you have to be an empath to really kind of, there's a lot going on that you really can't define.
Right.
Because the communication is altered a little bit by not being able to see them, and even and they tease me about my visual impairment. I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Right.
So like I said, I told Mark we used to try to hide it, but then people thought I was drunk because I would trip or bump or fall or something like that. So that doesn't happen anymore because I'm a lot better at taking direction. But like I said, the girls will move me around. They'll reposition me. Mark will bring me a stool to sit down on, and so I think it makes for a better rapport, and the quicker you have a rapport with the audience, the quicker they're comfortable and you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, and one of the advantages of having me there is I'm the eyes, so to speak, because I can read the audience. I interact with the audience, so he can interact with the audience. So
Yeah, absolutely.
It works well.
How
You
did
just told him how we cheat, Mark. Thanks.
And so did you grow up in Vegas yourself?
I did not. Kansas.
Okay.
Actually, we both grew up in Kansas, and that's our connection to each other. But
Yeah. Then we were asked to leave Kansas.
And so how did you guys come together to say, okay, hey, let's go to Branson and do a show together?
Well, we reconnected. I think over 3 years ago. I don't think you started
3 years
with
ago.
us for that.
Right.
But then we ran into each other, and we'd always been friends. We've been friends for 30-some years, so we're close. And one day he said, "Hey, I think I can help you because of my corporate background." And he would help companies get profitable, and he'd help them develop, and then his PR skills, and then his radio skills, and he was just perfect to MC and to help move that show in the right direction. And it's been a real good team effort. Right?
Good.
It has worked well.
Good. You guys are at the Hughes Brothers Theater. Let's tell people that. And you have shows typically 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Is that correct? Did I get it right?
Yep, that's
At
right.
2 o'clock.
Yes, you did. And don't forget, a lot of times presidents stop by. And they'll be there quite a bit, so don't worry about that.
Do you have some other past presidents that stop by as well?
I tell you, we got that one from Arkansas. I think you know me, but anyway, if Hillary lets me out, I'll do that too.
And then, well, we go all the way back to, well, I forget, who's this president I'm doing? Oh, Reagan, that's right.
And then we do Jimmy Carter, and then we do Kennedy, and sometimes we have requests for Abraham Lincoln, and we just say we don't have any tape on that guy, so we can't do a lot for that. But yeah, we have a great comedy skit, and one of our sponsors is a good friend of our former president, and he comes out, and that would be Mark. That does, what's that guy's name?
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell, yeah.
My pillow guy.
He's our Mike Lindell guy.
Yep.
And then we push, well, you'll have to come and see what we
Yeah,
push
that's
with
right.
that product.
That's
But
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's beautiful, and everybody knows it. It has to do with orange hair, but that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so folks, go check out this new show in Branson, Famous Impressions, right?
That's right,
The
Chris.
Famous Impressions, 2 o'clock at the Hughes Brothers Theater on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And what I've been told is you're going to laugh and you might cry.
well, we hope so, but it'll be tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Yes.
There you go. So, folks, we'll be back in a moment just to wrap up the show. And guys, thanks for coming.
Thanks for
you.
having us. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chris. Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need ibranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at ibranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. ibranson.com.
Hey, folks, we're wrapping the show up today, and I tell you what, I think you're going to like that Famous Impressions show. And what's interesting, and we didn't talk a lot about it on the show, but they say no two shows are alike, and so they do a lot of improv comedy. Of course, there's some things that are scripted, but we were talking about how that's been a challenge for the band and even the dancers, because these guys will go totally off script almost every show and do stuff. And so that's what makes it fun and exciting and new every show. So be sure to go check those guys out at the Hughes Brothers Theater Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 2 p.m. You can buy your tickets for this show at ibranson.com. And if you need help planning your entire Branson vacation, the folks there can help you. You can go to their website at ibranson.com, or you can call them at 1-877-ENTERTAIN, and they can help you book everything, your shows, your attractions, and your hotels. Next week on the show, I have Gary Carson, and Gary is with the new show here in Branson, the Escape Reality Magic and Dinner Show. And so you'll want to hear how Gary got his start in the business and learn more about his new show. There are lots of new shows in Branson. We're trying to highlight some of those over the next couple episodes. And so hopefully you'll enjoy some of the new artists that are in Branson. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week here on Play Branson.